All right, guys, so in this video, we're going to be talking about lesson 1, which is writing equations of circles in standard form. So first thing is, it says, warm up, identify the coordinates for the center of the circle, identify the radius of the circle. So if I come over here, the coordinates of this circle center are -2 and 6. So I'm going to have -2, 6, and then identify the radius. So if I come over here, look at the radius. The radius is the distance from the center out to the edge. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to have a radius, or R, of 5. Now it says, what is a circle? A circle is a shape that is equidistant from a central point. All right, so the word equidistant, that just means that no matter which direction you go, if I go this way or this way or this way, doesn't matter which direction I go, I'm always going to go the same distance from that center point out to the edge to reach the circle, and that distance is your radius. And so it says a standard form equation of a circle. Okay, so we have the form, standard form is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. All right, now it says where hk is the blank and r is the blank. So hk is your center and r is your radius. All right, now it says write the standard form of equation of a circle centered at 0, 0 with a radius of 5. So if I'm using the standard form, okay, it's going to be x minus 0. Okay, this is your h, this is your k, and this is your r. So it's going to be x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals r squared, so 5 squared. So really, if you have this x minus 0, you can just reduce that to x squared. Same thing with the y. Y minus 0 is still just y squared equals 5 squared. That's 5 times 5. That's the same thing as 25. All right. Now it says write the standard form equation of a circle centered at -2, -1, and then a radius of 4. So when you are doing these, something that you're going to notice is that if you've got in the equation x minus h and y minus k. So whatever your center is in the equation, the signs are actually going to be flipped because you're subtracting on each one. Okay? So if you have an h of -2 and a k of -1 and an r of 4, okay, then it's going to be, remember how we said it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. If I plug in a -2 for this h, I'm really doing minus -2, right? And so when I do that, it's going to become x plus 2 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals 4 squared. That's 16. Okay, so you always flip the signs whenever you're putting them into your equation. Now, sometimes you might be given the center and a point on the circle. So it says use the distance formula to determine the radius. So you might be given, like in this question right here, it says write the standard form of the equation of a circle centered at 3, 0, and a point on the circle is 1, -2. So think of it like this, like you have a graph, and you've got a point 3, 0, and then another point on the edge of the circle is at 1, -2. So it might be like right here. So you've got this circle here that goes through that point, and this is what we need to find. We need to find the radius. So in order to find the equation of the circle, you need two things. You need your center, which in this case is at 3, 0, and you need your radius. And we don't know what our radius is right now, but we're going to use our distance formula from way back. We're going to use our distance formula to help us find it. Okay? So this is going to be, first thing I'm going to do, find the distance between these 2 points to find my radius. So I'm going to label this x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay? And so I'm going to have my distance equals the square root of x1 minus x2. So I'm going to have 3 minus 1 squared plus y1 minus y2. So I'm going to have 0 minus -2. So that's really 0 plus 2 squared. So if I simplify this, I'm going to have 2 squared plus 2 squared. So that's going to equal the square root of 4 plus 4, which equals square root of 8. All right. Now, I've got my radius. All right. It equals the square root of 8. It's not a pretty radius, but it is one. And so whenever I put it into the equation, remember it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And so whenever I plug everything in, okay, this right here, going way back, the center, actually I'll do it right here. The center, this is my h, this is my k. So I'm going to have x minus 3 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals r squared. Now, r is the square root of 8, and then I square that. So I'm almost done. I can simplify this a little bit more. This stuff right here, can't really simplify that. I'm going to leave it the way it is, x minus 3 squared. And then right here, y minus 0, that's the same thing as just y squared. Now, this last part, square root of 8 squared. When I square a square root, the square root and the square cancel each other out. And so what I'm left with is just 8. And so now I know the equation of this circle. This one, it says, write the standard form equation of a circle centered at -3, 1 and point -4, -4. So this is the same thing again. I got to find my radius, okay? So I know my center is at -3, -1. But my radius, I don't know yet. All right, I don't know that one. So I'm going to use distance formula to help me find it. So x1, y1, x2, y2. And so I'm going to have square root of -3 minus a -4. Minus a -4, that means I'm going to be doing plus 4 squared plus -1. Again, minus a -4, that means plus 4 squared. So if I simplify this, I'm going to have 1 squared plus 3 squared. That gives me 1 plus 9, which gives me square root of 10. So my radius is equal to the square root of 10. So now that I got my two parts, I can put it together. So remember, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So plug it all in. I'm going to have x plus 3 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals 10. Because square root of 10 squared is going to give you 10. All right. So, your work. Practice, you've got pages 5, you got page 6, and you got page 7. All right. So, some of these problems, like for example, page 5, they either give you the center and the radius, right? Got to find the equation. Or they give you the center and a point on the circle, got to find the equation. Sometimes they give you the equation, they ask you for the center and radius. All right. So work through pages 5, 6, and 7. And then in the next video, we're going to go over lesson 2.